Max Gomez, welcome back to eTown. Good to hear you play and sing.
Thank you
Love
very
your
much.
songs. Love your songwriting and your singing. It's so cool.
It's always great to be here.
That
Thank
is, if you love someone, make it be is such a seductive little concept of a song. It's just, who wouldn't just fall in love with you when they hear you sing that song? It's just like, it's just.
Well, I could name a few.
Yeah. I was talking to Trevor about his early days. I might as well talk to you. I mean, growing up in Taos, I didn't remember until recently, I guess, that you're the youngest of 5 boys, which is a lot. That's a lot. Did they help you figure out like music and songs and turn you on to stuff when you were coming up?
I had one of the boys, my brother Zach. He's about 7 years older than me, and he was. All my brothers were cool guys, but Zach was kind of like Fonzie, And when he was about 16, he had this really slick sports car, and he had a Gibson Les Paul, gold pickups, black top guitar, and he listened to all the usual things at the time that kids his age were listening to. But also, oddly enough, he really listened to B.B. King all the time. And I got into B.B. King, and I got into that guitar that he had. I wanted to be just like Zach. So
Lucille. You wanted to have Lucille.
Yeah, whenever he set that thing down, I picked it up.
The Gibson Les Paul with the gold pickups, yeah.
Yeah, and pretty soon, we were studying together, all the B.B. King live records, and then that Eric Clapton B.B. King record came out, and we got into that, and we figured out who the heck is this guy. We didn't even know who Clapton was, we were kids, and that opened a whole world of the folk writers, the roots blues artists like Big Bill and Robert Johnson and things that were the originators of those songs, and that's honestly kind of where I hung it up. I couldn't figure out that stuff much more than.
What's funny, because I think in your bio it mentions that the 2 of the big influences were Johnny Cash and Big Bill Broonzy, and I love the fact that those represent such opposite sides of the musical background. Johnny Cash, what a great songwriter and performer and singer and commanding presence, and Big Bill Broonzy, this also commanding presence and amazing guitar player. But I wish I have 3 sisters, right? And they turned me on to like some, Ian and Sylvia or something, something.
Right.
It wasn't B.B. King and Big Bill Broonzy.
Right.
But it worked out.
Johnny Cash is the reason I mustered up the nerve to sing was really because no one was teaching me any of this stuff really, and my brother Zach, he never sang, and he was off to college, and I was just, like 13 years old, trying to figure out music, and I figured, well, Johnny Cash, he's not singing, he's just talking, really. And I thought, well, maybe I could do that, Well, my daddy left home when I was 3. That kind of stuff.
That's cool. I've never heard that. Like Johnny Cash gave somebody permission to start. That's cool. I found him intimidating, but And then you spent a lot of time in nature, I imagine, and just being in a beautiful place and out fishing and hanging out, right? Taos is just such a pretty part of the country.
Yeah, I still do. Actually, we spend a fair bit of time trying to catch fish and breaking ice on the river about this time of year and such.
Yeah. I wonder if I was talking with Trevor about, Hilton Head Island, and Hilton Head it's probably got like a dozen golf courses on, just sort of the whole thing is kind of relaxation made manifest. And there's, in a very different way, Taos shares that a little bit. It's kind of a relaxed community in some ways, right?
Yeah. In some ways a little too relaxed,
yeah.
I think.
Is it hard to be motivated in your career with the sort of chill vibes of Taos coursing through your veins?
That's part of the reason I try to spend a lot of time in a big city like LA is because it does the alarm clock goes off a little earlier out there.
Yeah.
And, I figure there's only so many days. So why not try to see the world and make records and such. And you can do that in Taos, but I feel like Taos will always be my hometown and always be there. And I go there more often than you think. I pretty well split time.
I know that early on, Sean Mullins was somebody who gave you a big leg up and a boost and was really kind of a big promoter for you. And you've also opened for a ton of people. You've been in co-bills with a lot of people, including some unlikely ones like Jeff Beck and people like that. Anybody sort of taking a shine to you these days and helping you chart your course through your musical journey?
Well, yeah. I opened a show for Chris Isaak a while back, and it was like a smashing success. And I'd like to think I had something to do with it, just sort of warming up the show, and we had a great night. And I think the promoter like doubled everybody's pay, and we all celebrated. And anyway, Chris lives in Nashville, and I've got it on my list, my short list to get together and maybe try our hand at penning a tune and that sort of thing. And
that's cool.
And Tommy James and the Shondells, another unexpected bill.
Yeah, totally out of left field. Yeah.
But Tommy and the guys are cool as can be, and Tommy invited me to come to New York and work in the studio sometime. So, Joe Ely and I are working, trying to come up with we're going to half write a song, a rock and roll song, and we're going to take it to Tommy and we'll finish it with him. So
cool.
That's on the short list of things to do,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it seems like you're a guy, I don't know if you know this reference, but there was a Peter Sellers movie called Being There, where the character Chauncey Gardner was just this guy who didn't actually do anything or say anything, and everybody was so completely charmed by him that they just opened every door. And suddenly,
that's kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah. Just be the strong, silent type, and then see where it takes you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I mean, I do have to say that in this anxious moment that we find ourselves in, there's a lesson there about being calm and open and keeping your eyes open and looking out for friends and folks that can open a door or have some fun with. I think it's admirable. I'm going to try to aim in that direction if I can.
Yeah, I mean, I really, more or less, am an independent traveling musician, and so anywhere I can, get a hand up, I have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, just a couple of bucks really would be proud. Just to get the hotel covered.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what happens when you're a little bit older than I'm not quite the mentor, but I am I can offer a hand up. Yeah. I'm serious. I think that when Trevor was talking about his spiritual journey and his path and living in the ashram and chasing this elusive thing that has to do with nothing, it has to do with being and being present and being open. You're reinforcing it from a different direction, which I appreciate. I know you're doing a river trip where you're taking people down, what is it called, Rio Champa?
The Rio Chama,
yeah.
In northern New Mexico, starts in Chama, New Mexico, and ends in Abiquiu, which is, of course, the most difficult town to spell in America. But where Georgia O'Keeffe was so inspired by Pedernal and those sandy mountains and such. Yeah. It's a beautiful trip. We do a couple of them in August. And you can catch us on those river trips, and then we sort of entertain, campfire style around dinner and such. It's really nice.
That sounds cool. And that's in August. Do you have a website? Yeah.
MaxGomezmusic.com.
Okay. All right. And so cool. So somebody could go there, and there'd actually be some information about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have somebody who does that for you, or are you responsible for that too?
I got somebody that does that for us.
All right. Well, Max, I'm happy you're here. There's so much more music to play. Let's get back to it. But just your great addition to today's show. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you,
man.
Nick.